Good Thursday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF. Visit with your local ag retailer about 0% financing on all BASF crop protection, seed treatment, and Zetavo brand soybeans now through March 15th. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Under cloudy skies, I've got 13 degrees on the barn thermometer. That temperature steadily falling throughout the evening, as well as snowfall here in northwest Ohio. It definitely looks and feels like winter. I'll be heading over to Wood County later today to visit at lunch with the Bowling Green Kiwanis Club as we take a look at the future of agriculture. This programming note, be sure to tune in on Monday during midday as we will be getting our update from the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association about all the great work being done to represent Ohio's grain farmers at the state and national levels. Let's take some time now to check in on our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council. Joining me today is Mackenzie Joseph. Mackenzie is a communications coordinator with the Ohio Soybean Council. Mackenzie, Ohio Soy believes very strongly, I know, in investing in the next generation, and one way that that's done is through scholarship opportunities. What are some of those opportunities that folks can take a look at through Ohio Soy?
Both the Council and the Ohio Soybean Association are happy to offer scholarships this year. Starting off with the Council, we're offering $47,000 this year in scholarships, and that's comprised of both undergraduate and graduate scholarships. That includes 7 undergraduate scholarships of $3,000, one $3,000 a Robinson Joslin scholarship, the $5,000 Bima Vapor Engine scholarship, and then this year we're excited to announce a new scholarship in honor of Thomas Fontana, who is retiring at the end of this year. Tom is our research and education director, so we decided to establish a $3,000 scholarship in his name specifically to a student studying ag ed. And then our graduate students, we have 3 $5,000 scholarships available for them studying anything related to agriculture with their research. And then on the association side, we are happy to announce we have 2 $1,000 scholarships available. But what's different about those scholarships this year is that they are now available to high school seniors who are going to be with an intent to enroll in college.
Where can students or parents that are interested in learning more go to get the applications and learn more about what's required?
All of those applications can be found on our website, soyohio.org. All of those scholarships close at midnight on January 16th, 2026.
So if this is of interest, you better get on the stick. You've got about 40 hours literally left till that deadline. Again, my guest today is Mackenzie Joseph. She's communications coordinator with the Ohio Soybean Council. Mackenzie, thanks so much for your time. Today's update has been brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Taking a look at what's trending at ohioagnet.com, you can register today and join the OSU Extension on February the 23rd for their 6th annual Virtual Corn College and Soybean School. That's presented by OSU Extension's Agronomic Crops team. The program will run from 9 to 4 and features OSU Extension field and state specialists with updates and topics relevant for the 26 growing season. There's also certified crop advisors CEUs available. You can read that story today as well as an article about some corn and soybean yield contest winners. Seed Genetics Direct Vice President Todd Jeffries recently announced the winners of the company's 2025 yield contest. You can read more about who those yield contest winners were and what types of numbers they brought in from the fields this year. That, along with the latest in ag markets and weather, all online at ohioagnet.com. Well, speaking of the weather, let's take a look at our Thursday update. Today's weather update brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com.
Cold air here to stay for the rest of the week and weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with that Ohio Ag Weather Update. Strong north winds subsiding a bit today. We may see a lake effect hold on into midday and early afternoon in northeast Ohio, but everywhere else the lake effect cloud cover is less and snow should not be an issue. However, we're not done with snow. We've got another couple of clippers that want to move through over the weekend and into early next week. Snow's back in a large part of the state, at least in flurry form on Friday tomorrow. Then we take a little bit of a break with not a clouds, but not a lot of new precipitation before we get Saturday night through Sunday and Monday, another round of moisture coming in from the west and northwest. When we're talking snows here, I don't think we're looking at any major accumulations, but some fresh dustings. We'll pay attention to that. And the winds are going to be the big story. Wind chills likely holding up through the weekend as well. Next week, chilly for most of the week until late, where we see a big warm-up on Friday. That warm-up brings rain. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, an event you may want to put on your calendar, the 2026 Overholt Drainage School will be taking place. That runs March 16th through the 20th. It is an all-day event each of those days. Now, this event is intended for drainage contractors, professional engineers, consultants, district technicians, NRCS and agency professionals, as well as landowners, students, or really anyone interested in subsurface drainage design, maintenance, and installation. Some of the topics include agricultural drainage basics and the concepts, topography mapping and soil basics, drainage design, planning and installation, some drainage laws as well as economics, conservation, drainage and water quality, and safety considerations for construction and utility protection. For more information and to register, you can go to their website at go.osu.edu/ODS26. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more after this.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
It's time for the Morton Buildings Building Value Days sales event running now through the end of February. Morton buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now. Our buildings are built to last, but these savings won't. Visit MortonBuildings.com or contact your local Morton office to take advantage of current savings on new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. Offer valid only on select new building orders placed between January 5th and February 28th, 2026. Let's check in now with Allison Kinney as she has an update on some scholarship opportunities.
Farm Credit Mid-America is now accepting applications for its customer scholarships and Farm Credit Mid-America Scholars Program. Over the past decade, the association has awarded more than $2 million in financial and educational support to students pursuing careers that strengthen agriculture and rural communities. They expect to award up to $125,000 in academic support this year. Customer scholarships provide $1,500 in financial support to children or grandchildren of Farm Credit Mid-America customers pursuing careers connected to agriculture or rural communities. The Farm Credit Mid-America Scholars Program is open to rising college sophomores and juniors majoring in agriculture. Each year, a new cohort of students receives $5,000 in financial support over 2 academic years. Scholars also participate in on-site learning and travel experiences focused on leadership development and financial literacy. For more information, the entire article can be found at OhioAgNet.com. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Allison Kinney reporting.
Thanks, Allison. Well, American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall and U.S. Department of Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins addressed attendees at the American Farm Bureau Annual Convention. One of the topics was E15. Our own Joe Everett has this update.
At the American Farm Bureau Federation's annual meeting in Anaheim, California, Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins used the national stage to push Congress on a familiar issue for farmers, year-round access to E15. Rollins says that the administration has gone as far as it can through regulation and that now it is up to lawmakers to act. Speaking to roughly 4,500 Farm Bureau members, Rollins recapped a number of policy moves under the Trump administration, including changes to commodity programs, dairy coverage, and farm safety net payments. But when it came to ethanol, her message was direct. Rollins told producers that expanding year-round E15 sales is one of the clearest ways to boost domestic demand for U.S. crops, especially corn, while also helping consumers at the pump. She said nationwide E15 would be a win-win, but stressed that the administration has hit a wall without actions from Congress.
While the Trump administration has gone as far as we can regulatorily to provide EPA E15 waivers, Congress must now do its job and pass nationwide year-round E15 legislation to continue to drive domestic crop demand, a clear win-win for farmers and consumers.
Rollins said that the Trump administration has already used every regulatory tool available to expand E15 access, pointing to early executive orders on energy security and the Environmental Protection Agency's proposal for what she called the most aggressive renewable volume obligations in history. She described President Donald Trump as the most pro-biofuels president to date, noting that E15 was identified as a way to stretch fuel supplies and help reduce pump prices. But without congressional approval, seasonal restrictions on E15 sales remain in place in much of the country, limiting ethanol demand just as corn supplies continue to grow. American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall understands the importance of E15 and what it means to American farmers.
High prices are putting a squeeze on America's families, including farm families. Combine that with historically low crop prices, and you have a recipe for disaster in rural America. But there is a solution, one that is a win-win for farmers and drivers across the nation. Year-round E15. Authorizing permanent ethanol blend fuels year-round could ultimately increase demand for corn by up to 2.4 billion bushels a year. And for drivers, the blend would save them 10 to 30 cents per gallon. Right now, federal law restricts the sale of E15 in many parts of the country because of outdated regulations from almost 50 years ago. Congress should give drivers a choice and expand markets for American-grown crops. Make E15 available year-round.
Farm Bureau, along with other ag groups, understand the importance of expanding year-round E15 and that it would create immediate demand for corn while supporting the ethanol industry and creating jobs in our farm communities. With regulatory avenues largely exhausted, attention now shifts to Capitol Hill, where farm groups are urging Congress to move quickly on legislation. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joe Everett reporting.
Thanks, Joe. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
It's time now for today's market analysis, brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC.
Grain markets finally tried to bounce just a little bit for the Wednesday session. Corn finishing 1 to 2 higher, beans up about 2 to 3. Wheat markets up anywhere from 1 to 2.5. So it wasn't necessarily much of a bounce, but I will say it was a stopping of the hemorrhaging that we saw the days prior, thanks to the USDA report. U.S. ethanol production for the week ending January 9th, an all-time record, 352 million gallons, up 9% above the same week a year ago. The preliminary estimates out there of corn used for ethanol in January is 480 million bushels. That's 13 million above January of 2025. It also leaves hope that USDA's annual grind forecast of 5.6 billion is correct. Crude and gasoline stocks continue to expand seasonally. Commercial crude inventories, 422 million barrels, 2% higher year on year. Not sure if we're spinning this as a decent story or not yet on corn, but still, ethanol margins should support more usage. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's take a look now at how your markets closed yesterday, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Well, March corn closed up 2 1/4 cents, and May corn was up 2 cents. March soybeans closed the day up 3 3/4 cents, while May beans were up 3 cents. March Kansas City wheat closed up 2 3/4 cents, while March Chicago wheat was up 2 cents, and March Minneapolis wheat was up 1/2 penny. Taking a look now at the overnight trade, March corn is up 1 3/4 at $4.23 3/4 cents, and May corn is up 1.5 pennies, $4.31 1/4 cents. March soybeans trading up 1/2 penny at $10.43, with May beans also up 1/2 penny, $10.55 1/2 cents. Wheat for July, the 26 new crop currently unchanged at $5.36 1/4. September 26 wheat is up 1/4 penny though at $5.50 3/4 cents. Turning now to livestock, February live cattle closed down $2.10 yesterday at $235.15, and April cattle were down $1.65 at $237.32 1/2. February lean hogs closed the day higher, up $1.07.5 at $85.70. April hogs were up $1.45 at $92.70, and feeder cattle for March down $2.42.5 at $359.70. This is the Ohio AgNet.